and this is our plan of attack.
Banks have become an essential threat to our democracy. So consider this justice.
Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported radio station on the internet. Please help support this station so this battle can continue forward. Revolution Radio!
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure, fingers and or toes often go cold, arms and or legs often go to sleep, sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe, short walks cause cramping or pains in legs, memory is not as good as it used to be, ankles swell late in the day, chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Welcome to Sacred Matrix, a divine paradigm of love and universal consciousness, with your host, Janet Kira Lessin and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
Together, we transform the world.
And now, here are your hosts, Janet Kira and Dr. Sasha Lessin.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Sacred Matrix on Revolution Radio. And I'm your host, Janet Kira Lessin. I think I'm getting some feedback from somewhere. And I'm here with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Alex Lessin, and with our producer, Thomas Spicker, and our guest today is Dan Cooper. Dan Cooper's been on our show many times, but he's going to talk to us about what's coming down in the secret space program and how it's moving more into the real space program. You know, these things have been behind the scenes for years are now starting to move into the forefront, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff. We're going to talk about Dan's life in the 20 and Back program and what it was like being a gladiator for the United States in the secret military and fighting as a gladiator for our world and our country and galaxies far, far away. Dr. Sasha Alex Lessin, are you there?
Yeah, so we're going to go beyond Doom TARDIS and we're going to go to something real positive. Listen up.
Okay. Okay, Dan, we're all sitting here on the edge of our seats. What's happening? What's going on? There's a lot of things breaking right now.
Oh, yeah. Can you hear me?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, thanks for having me on, Janet.
Oh, we're always happy to have you on. Where do we start?
So my son told me that Corey, because I haven't been really following what's going on in the exopolitical science community, although that's very real. Corey, my son mentioned that Corey said that what's going on in Huntsville when Pence went out, Vice President Pence went out there recently to promise a bunch of grants, basically, a bunch of development capital for different projects. that what Corey called that the 50-year plan, the secret space program, the interplanetary corporate conglomerate's 50-year program of disclosure, which is better than the 100. You know, at least they're down to 50, which is a little bit better than the 100. It used to be 100, now it's down to 50. Yeah, that's good news. It's not good news in the sense that it's 50 years, you know.
Right, that's a long time.
and then there's two things that we don't really know, and then I'm going to find out because I'm involved. Meaning I'm actually trying to apply for some of those grants, so I'm very involved. So I'll know exactly what's going on. You know, I mean, I can report exactly what's going on because I'm applying for some of those grants that are being promised out in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes.
Anyway, so it might take 50 years. If you were to develop the 6th and 7th forces, the higher levels of technology, the advanced technologies of the advanced species, and then the SSP has this technology as well. They operate on a much higher level of energy platforms than we do. We operate in the 4th and 5th forces, and they operate in the 6th and 7th forces, and all their machinery operates on that, and all their ships and everything operates on that. So it's really hard for that to actually just drop that off on us. So there's been a big debate in the SSP as to dropping it off isn't nearly as good as just letting us develop it on our own. So, you know, they want to do that. And that's what Marilyn Houston was doing, Lockheed Martin. That's what she was doing when she went out there and she showed everybody with Tom DeLonge, the 2 wafers, the one with 2 layers and the one with 50 layers. And basically she was passing on knowledge to the Russians and the Chinese, as well as different factions in, especially NASA. NASA is a certain faction of the academic communities in the United States that haven't been a part of the secret space program. And there are a lot of NASA scientists that would like to develop these technologies, and they're now being told they're being given a green light, and they're going to be given grant money. But that's a 50-year plan because it takes 50 years to develop that technology. I'm pushing for an interim solution, which is one that's electromagnetically based, which is just fine, you know, free energy technology. But I haven't had any open discussion on that yet. So we'll see how that's going. We don't even know if they're, you know, we're hearing they're going to give grants for development of the higher technologies for the NASA scientists who have actually delved into this area. But we don't know. I won't know that until I actually apply and see and, you know, and get more information. So we'll find out about that. That's not very discouraging. That's very discouraging for the Alliance. The Alliance wanted it all the technology dropped on us. They don't want to wait for it. They don't want it developed themselves. They wanted it handed to them. As far as they're concerned, they have a right to it according to the Potsdam Agreement.
Wait, refresh my memory. Who's the Alliance again?
China and Russia. Basically, China and Russia and the inner Earth.
Okay.
The main players are the inner Earth beings, 7 continents.
Because they're trying to get back to the moon in 5 years.
I'm sorry, what? Moon? Are you kidding? You got to be kidding me. Moon? That's a joke, right?
I know, but that's the front story, right? So they're trying to get back to
right.
in 5 years.
So
how do you even do that when they've stopped an active space program? Do you have any idea how they're going to pull that one off?
How they're gonna?
Oh, wait.
I don't know. What's your question, really?
Okay, go ahead, Tosh.
You alluded to an alliance among Chinese, Russians, and inner Earth civilizations, and I would like you to just expand a little. What do you mean by the inner Earth civilizations?
Just imagine, 7 different continents in the inner Earth, 7 different big areas down below, just like we have continents,
Right.
And they're kind of broken up into 7, I believe, and those are 7 different groups or organizations. They get together and they're an alliance, and they're the Inner Earth Alliance, and then they got together with our alliance, which is China and Russia and a lot of other smaller countries. Okay.
Yeah, that goes along with that. That seems consistent with what I read from Leach and others about Bodlanders being the leading power down there. Is that the same as your information?
Well, they're kind of they're isolationists. The inner Earth beings have become isolationists after the big war between them and the The different factions in our solar system, the indigenous factions in our solar system, had a huge war. They destroyed our planet and everything, and they actually gave up technology and they gave up space. They're isolationist, and the inner Earth beings are isolationist. So they don't really have a big fleet. They don't really get out much. It's really China that leads the alliance. When I say the alliance, I mean China. China's leading it. Not the inner Earth beings are isolationists. They're not handing out any technology to anybody.
So how are they
not handing technology out to the Chinese? That's for sure.
So how are they in an alliance if they're isolationists?
I'm sorry, run that one by me.
How are they in an alliance with China and Russia if they're
they're in alliance with China? They're in alliance with China and Russia because they want to free the surface humanity. They don't want us taken advantage of, and it goes back to a treaty that's 500 years old called the Mohammed Accord between the Draco and the inner Earth beings when there was a war. Also, the Martian, they're now the Martians. They weren't Mars. They were Mars deck, I believe. Anyway, it goes back. There's some history involved.
Right, so we're not aware of this history. So this is stuff that you know that we're not aware of, and so we don't know how they come into alliance with each other, how they discovered each other. I mean, we didn't know how the United States knows about the inner Earth. When did all that happen? So maybe you can fill in a little bit of the gaps because we have a lot of people out there, including myself, that are ignorant about how this all came about and what's happening.
And the funny thing is, China's going to the south side of the moon in 22. So we're supposed to go in 5 years. What is that? 2 years after China's supposed to go there. We have this really weird program now where we're actually lagging the Chinese in their space development, so to speak.
Well, that's what I was.
China has 3 missions, and they parallel ours, by the way. That's why I'm mentioning them. If you look up, China's current missions to Mars, you'll find out they're going in 22 to the south side, exactly like us, only 2 years later. They're going to make a station there, just like us, only 2 years later. And then they're going to go from there to Mars, just like us. Only our program is 2 years later than theirs. So it's really weird. It's very strange.
What's on the backside where they're going to have public the ability to broadcast?
We know that the Chinese published the photos of the glass domes. Those are the ones that are 2 miles, 25 miles wide, 2 miles high, a glass dome. 2 miles high and 25 miles wide.
Wow.
Glass dome. And the Chinese published the photos.
Wow.
You do remember, right? You remember they published the photos of the glass domes, right?
No, yes. I need it. I have not seen a published photo.
Oh my God! Seriously, I was sending that out to everybody. Right now. Oh my God! I was sending those to everybody before they pulled them down. I'll have to go look and see if they're still there. I was sending them out to everybody. Oh, look, the Chinese, the rabbit. December. What was it? December 2013.
I saw things that were really tiny, but nothing that was very distinct.
No. I saw some really good ones. They shot a lot.
You got to keep me in the loop there, Dan.
Hey, this was before we even spoke. I was sending out those pictures. Like, look, the Chinese are the Chinese are sending out their photos of the glass domes. Anyway, they're
okay.
All right, so
I forgive you.
Well, I didn't.
Since it was before we even met.
So we don't know. We know that it'll get blocked in the United States, even if they send them out. They won't reach here, or if they do, it'll be for a flash, just like the other ones.
Okay, so what's going on that they're
Well, I'm pushing for the release of an interim level of technology, which is free energy motors, electromagnetic energy powered free energy motors, generators and engines, and that's what I'm pushing for. So, but I won't know. I won't know until I get more involved with the people who. We're going to several big companies, and we've also approached China as well, and everybody says sure, bring us over a prototype, and then I have a small company that wants to make a prototype. It can also do a simulation. You don't have to actually build it. So I'm moving along in trying to get this stuff out there, but I don't know I have no definitive answers yet. Can't tell you exactly what's going on. I know what that thing out in Huntsville is. It's the 50-year plan that Corey was talking about. Because it takes 50 years to develop that technology.
Well, what are they going to have in 5 years? If it says,
well, I don't know. I'm trying to get them to release my stuff, or the level that I've been working on, which is magnetic energy powered free energy generators, for powering cars and jets and stuff like that, boats and ships and trucks and everything, houses and everything. I want everything powered with free energy generators.
Daniel, can they deny your inventions to the Chinese on the basis of national security, so that you're locked into?
Yes. They can issue a secrecy order. They can restrict my transport on the basis that I'm out there going out giving secrets away to the foreign. But there's an application procedure where I can apply, and they have to issue an order, and then I can contest the order. Because I practiced law for a long time, and I'm not gonna let that one go. I'm not like other inventors. I would love it if they would take me to court.
If let us say that they establish that it is in the interest of national security to not let foreign governments have your patents, do they have to compensate you for what you would have you lost
Yes, they have to pay you, which is why they don't want to do it. See, because they don't want to pay me.
Yeah,
but that's okay. It's just a legal case. Like I said, that's what I did for many years. So I have a major advantage in that I'm not afraid to go to court. And in fact, I look forward to it.
So, well, way to go, Dan. So I'm looking at this. Vice President Pence, Americans will return to the moon within 5 years. And it says that they will do it with or without NASA. So I want to know what that means. And then he said that, let me be clear, the first woman and the next man on the moon will be American astronauts launched by American rockets from American soil, said Pence. But to accomplish this, we must redouble efforts here in Huntsville and throughout the program. So they're not going to make it based on what you said about the Chinese program.
Yeah,
certainly they're aware with the
Chinese program. Yeah, the Chinese program is well developed and they're on schedule. And I sent you the information. Remember I gave you the email address?
I'll have to go look it up. I'm behind my
anyway, all I got to do is Google, Chinese latest launch to the moon, and then it'll all come up. All their schedule and everything will come up, and it's
okay.
They're way ahead of that schedule, and this is just Pence thinking about he wants to get started. Chinese are already on schedule.
So
these guys don't even have anything going yet. I mean, they haven't issued any grants. You know how long it takes to issue a grant? Just issue a grant.
So is this just more hot air, or do they have something that you might not be aware of, that they're bragging this, that they're going to do this within 5 years?
Well, I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out because I have applications for those grants. So I'm going to find out what they are going to be issuing grants for. I'm going to find out because I'm trying to get some of those grants. Pence's
grants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have India's active. Are we in a new space race with China and Russia?
They're trying to make it look like there's some kind of race there, but yeah, right.
Race. So who can really land somebody? Can anybody land a man's force, not just a drone or whatever they call these robots or little things that run around the planets? Can anybody land a live person right now on the moon or Mars? Is that something that's they're about? I mean, in the straight space program, not the secret space program.
China can land people on the moon. Well, they just did that in 2013, December.
they landed a craft, but that wasn't.
Yeah, and now they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to bring a person on there. I didn't look and see what the current program is, but I think they're planning on dropping a person down.
Okay, that's what I'm wondering. Who's doing the people?
Yeah.
Not just the little robots that run around and take pictures.
Right. I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't check their program. I just noticed that everything that Spence said that Chinese have planned 2 years before. Like, well, that's just stupid. You know.
Well, it says in this article, and I don't know if this is information or disinformation or fake news or real news. It's from Fox News. Okay. There we got it. I didn't see what it was. It says that there's no one to race. It's unlikely the U.S. will attract any serious competition. And it says China's certainly interested in the moon, but its current timeline puts humans landing sometime after 2030, slower even than NASA's timeline, before this week's aggressive rescheduling. So, I mean, that's just one article. How do we get the real news anymore? How do we find out? Is there such a thing as real news? It's all fake news. How do we know it's real, Dan?
I gave you the information on the Chinese schedule.
Okay, I got to pull that up. I'll go look on my.
Oh my God! You know, I.
Oh my God! I didn't get it. I don't know. I remember seeing it. Their
I
whole
gave you the accurate information on the Chinese schedule.
Okay. Well, if I don't have it, resend it to me at the break. But,
all right.
Okay. So what else can we?
Anyway, everything is the same as what Spence said only 2 years earlier. That's what's so weird about it. What was so noticeable about the Chinese schedule. Only the Chinese schedule is a real schedule, and Pence is just talking what he wants.
So he's saying by 2024, and so China's
everything that Pence said the Chinese are doing 2 years earlier.
Wow.
But it's real. It's hard. It's already scheduled. Pence is talking about what he would like to do 5 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same.
Right.
I gave you the hard schedule. I sent it to you.
Okay, I'll go find it. Bear with me. And I'll put that on. I have a page.
So the point is that it's a joke. It's almost a joke. Anybody that knows that's a joke. Pence going down there talking about things that China's already got scheduled.
Okay.
It was almost laughable. Well, it was laughable.
So who knows? Who knows what's reality and what's not? Who knows that this is?
You mean what projects are going to finance it? Whether we don't know until we apply for the projects to see if we get the grants. Okay. We won't know what's real and what isn't. Lots of NASA scientists want to apply for the grants. We don't know if they're going to be issued or not. He's saying they're going to issue them. We'll see.
Okay. So, hypothetically, if you get this grant, and I don't want you to say anything you can't say, anything that's going to jeopardize anything, but what you can reveal to us, how do you see this coming down with their schedule, with what's realistic or what's something that we can do? Is it going to take longer? Could it be done faster? Because you've been in the 20 and back program.
Well, the 50-year plan is the more advanced technology, and that takes a lot of time to develop, and that's okay as long as they're going to give us some interim technology, and that's what I'm hoping they're going to do. The talk is that they are, but I'm not saying for sure until I actually see a signed contract. For sure.
Some of the most immediate things is you have devices that can clean up the most dangerous radioactivity and pollution and stuff that, I don't see any military benefit in hoarding that part of the technology that you've been working on.
And now what I'm looking for is a small company to make simulations, because the big companies, they want to see this, they want to see the prototypes, they want to see the simulations, and I'm trying to get a small company to put that together with me and for me. And there are several companies that want to do that, but they have to get permission from the United States to do that, and that's what we're involved in at this time. That's why I'm saying, if anybody that's going to know for sure, it's me, because I'm asking for those grants right now.
Right.
Right. They benefit everybody.
I'm sorry,
well,
what?
they better act fast if they're going to get this done in 5 years. That's all I can say.
You know what cracks me up? And Janet loves this too. Everybody's into the med pods. How do the med pods work? Everybody asks me.
Yes, tell us about med pods.
Everybody's into that. Oh my God, they love that thing the most. The most accurate description of the med pod was given by Randy Kramer. He gave the most accurate description of it. That is correct. That is exactly how it works. Yeah. And everybody wants one. Everybody in NASA wants one too. You're not the only one, Janet.
Oh yeah, I would. But
I suspect that there will be a lot of development in the medical as we go along. That'll be the primary focus. Will be medical. Okay, to me it's free energy, but okay, medical's cool too.
So what is a med pod according to Randy Kramer?
The Randy Kramer one, you need to go and download that description he gave in one of his early lectures on a
Yeah, but I can't find it. I'm looking right now.
That's the one. Yeah, that's a really good description. He gave a bunch of good descriptions of the technology. That was definitely a very accurate description. I
don't see it anywhere. I'll keep looking, but can you kind of what is it?
Well, that's the one where he's talking about it makes it's not. He doesn't know what the holographic image is. It's not light like you know it. It makes a holographic image of your arm, and then your arm grows right back because it wants to be the holographic image. It wants to become the holographic image. So that's how your arm grows back when it got chopped off. See, stuff like that.
Yeah, your
everything can be cured with these med pods. All diseases, all illnesses, all injuries.
From what I remember, and this was a few years back, and Sasha, maybe you remember, Randy was saying that we have our physical body, but we have like this astral spiritual body, and the other bodies retain the original memory of what the physical body felt like to them energetically. So if you have an arm cut off, that it wants to regenerate the arm because that's
right. Yes, but you still need the med pod to make it happen, and that's a very complex device. But everybody's into it. Everybody wants to know how to med pod. I want a med pod. They all want to make a med pod. That's what cracks me up about all these scientists. That's their biggest thing. They want the med pod. All right.
So Randy has a GoFundMe for his.
Randy has a very accurate description of the med pods. Very, very accurate.
It's a holographic regenerating med bed, he calls it.
Yes, correct.
And he's got a GoFundMe if you want to contribute. A lot of people are contributing.
Yeah. His description of SSP's one is very accurate. That's my point.
So what he said on our show was that after a while he realized that they told him that he didn't need, if he really could access his own inner abilities, he doesn't need the med bed or the med pod. He has it within himself.
That's some real bad. That's some really advanced psionics. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's
not for everybody. Got news for you.
So we all have to believe in our aspirin to begin with, right?
Well, if we lived our original lifespan, 800 to 1,000 years, we lived our original lifespan, and we worked on our psionic capabilities. We could do stuff like that, but no, not in this short period. 100 years, we're messed with on purpose. Our lifespan is shortened because we make better slaves and we don't develop psionically. And anyway, there's lots of reasons.
Right, and that goes back to like the Anunnaki and.
That'll all be fixed over generations, and we'll get back to our normal lifespan. Can you imagine?
I know that's our original lifespan. It kind of pisses me off. Like, what? They shortened this down.
I know they did that. Yeah, they did that. Okay, so
50 or 100 years, and you just start to figure out, and you're dead. Yeah. Oh man, I got to come back into the diaper phase again.
Anyway, so there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people out in NASA. They're pretty out in NASA, Huntsville, and they're also they're moving Space Command and NASA out there. So they're going to move all the research scientists out there that are into these exotic sciences. Anyway, whatever. But a lot of people are hopeful and they're excited, and and that's good. If that's what the SSP is going to do, and that they're just going to let us start from scratch, okay. At least they're going to let us, It's something. I don't know what's going on with the alliance, meaning China and the United States. They're apparently negotiations have broken down because they don't even want them developing these things together. Originally, it started out that we're going to develop it all together. Now the United States doesn't want their people working with anyone else. It's like, wow, so apparently negotiations are broken down between the two, the SSP and the alliance, China and the United States. But anyway,
and you don't have any insight into what.
No, I'm gonna try to buzz that up if I can. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's to anybody's advantage to try to continue the ruse. We're different than China, and China's an enemy, and that's all not very protective for moving forward into the full disclosure period.
Right. Now, do you think they might be moving it? All this inland away from the oceans, to perhaps because of the seas rising and everything.
I mean, why are they going to Huntsville?
Yeah, why are they moving inland?
Because they have a lot of research scientists and labs there.
Right.
NASA labs there, NASA research scientists. It's just where those guys wanted to be. They don't want to move. They've been there forever. They have generations. They have generations over there. That's just where they want to be. That's where they want to do the work.
Okay. All right. It
has nothing to do with anything else.
Okay. Just speculating. So they're moving it there, and if you get your grants, maybe you'll be there too, and so all these people, they're going to move their headquarters there, or a lot of their operations there. Is that what you're saying? Am I getting that?
Yeah, apparently, a lot of stuff's supposed to happen out there. We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. Okay.
Yeah.
So they had this 5-year plan, and since you have kind of like the insight on what it takes to develop this, do you think that's realistic? 5 years?
Well, they're putting on a big show again, which is the rocket ruse, and which is really weird. And I don't think there's really that much interest in NASA. I think the scientists are kind of fed up with the rocket ruse. They don't want to do that. So
right.
Yeah, so I'm thinking there really isn't. It isn't going to go down the way they're thinking.
But they're just going to use rockets again. We've had rockets.
Right. I think there's going to personally. I think there's going to be a little revolt out there. Half the scientists are going to say, "No, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to do the rocket ruse anymore." So it's going to be. Like I said, there's some very exciting changes that are coming about, and I won't know, but I'm involved, so I will know in time. But I don't know now what's going to happen.
Right.
I think what's going to happen is that the progressives, the new kids, all these kids are like, no, I'm not doing rockets. I don't want to do rockets. That's stupid. I think they're going to win the argument.
Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be exciting. Sasha, any questions or feedback?
Yes, I do have a question. So, there's a difference between the official stuff, just like, the official stuff about the Twin Towers, and what happens when people examine the evidence about the stand down and all that. So it's like that. I'd be interested, because of what you really do know, Daniel, to go beyond the official story with their rockets and fuel burning and stuff, to what is happening in this. So let's start with the near solar system. What's going on in Venus? What's going on in terms of the settlement of Mars and the moons of Saturn and stationary ships within our inner solar system? Can you sort of give us an overview?
You want to know what's going on in our solar system?
Yeah, I want to know what's going on from the ICC, not just the NASA and Everest.
Well, the ICC is in denial, in the sense that they're denying that they're surrounded by a barrier. That this solar system is surrounded by a barrier that was put up by the Spirit, but they're in denial. They won't admit that, because they're saying, well, you can't prove it, so we're not going to admit to that. So they're in denial about the outer barrier. They're in denial about what that means. It means that they can no longer. They had a second economy, and they can't. A command is locked inside the solar system, and they can't enjoy that second economy, and they kind of have to turn back now to Earth. They're stuck here, so they have to be more concerned about what's happening here, and which means they have to get along, and they weren't interested in getting along before. Everything changed because of the outer barrier, and they're not admitting to it.
So aren't they being affected, though? If as we've talked before in other shows, that we have intergalactic trade and travel.
Yeah, but that's all got squashed, and there's none of that anymore. We're in lockdown.
So
we're surrounded by a barrier that nothing can get through except for what they allow. Nothing can come in, nothing can go out except for what they allow. And they allow things. They allow something.
Who would be getting that information that they're not able to go past the barrier?
I'm sorry.
What branch will be getting that information? What branch of the secret space program gets that information that they can't go past?
They're not fessing up to any of that. They're not telling. They're not saying. They're not admitting to it. They're not telling anybody that they're on lockdown.
Okay, so that's why the NASA people or Trump or Pence, they're not in the know that this barrier lockdown is happening. Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't know. They don't tell them anything. They don't tell those guys anything. They don't tell them anything. I can't believe Titor thought that they're informed. They're not informed.
Well, see, there's all this different. How do we know what's information, disinformation, right? So we don't know. So what does Trump know? What do the presidents know? Do they know?
Well, he may know of the existence of a secret space program, but he doesn't know any of the details.
Okay.
He doesn't know any of the technology or any of the details or anything. You know more than he does.
I know, we're just so smart. I don't know. Well, we're trying to sort it out. We have
anyway. So they're on lockdown, and they gotta get, and they can't destroy. They can't ship us out anymore. They were going to ship us all out and sell us out. We were already sold. We were all going to get shipped out. The plan was to make the planet look like it was dying, and then the aliens were going to come and save us. And we're all going to get on their ships and go to their planets and serve them as slaves willingly. And that was the plan. But the plan got kiboshed. It got changed. It got changed because the spirit beings put up the outer barrier around our solar system, and we can't be removed anymore.
So,
have you ever met one of these sphere beings? Have you ever been in proximity to any of them?
No. My first contact, I've had several contacts with spirit beings. My first contact with spirit beings was in 1981, where I was actually told what was going to happen. And then
what happened?
Meaning that they were going to put an outer barrier up around our solar system and an outer barrier around our planet as well, and both occurred. The barriers were put up around our planet and the solar system. They removed the barrier around our planet a few months later. That happened on December 5th. 2014, the outer barrier and around our planet and the outer barrier around our solar system were installed by the spirit beings on December 5th, 2014. That was after the Battle of Ganymede in the summer of 2014, where
What is the nature? What is it meant by a barrier? Is it electrical force?
No, it's an eighth force barrier. It's made of energy. It's so pure it can't be penetrated by anything else, anything at all. Which means we can't get out and we can't get in unless they allow it. Now we can't communicate. Originally, we couldn't even communicate. They do let us communicate, meaning with our different embassies and space stations and our different colonies throughout the galaxy. They let us communicate, but they don't let any. They won't let our assets, meaning our Dark Fleet, got caught outside the barrier, meaning all of our weapons were outside the barrier. All of the SSP's advanced weaponry is outside the barrier. Command is inside the barrier. All their weapons are outside the barrier. Their whole
if a
fleet
group
outside the barrier. What?
If someone wants to communicate or trade goods or services through the gap, to whom do they apply, or how do they apply to the
There's
keepers?
no trading. There's no trading goods. There's only communicating. There's no trading goods. We can't trade goods.
Oh.
We can't get goods inside, and people can't deliver goods to us, and we can't trade goods. They're stuck. I told you they're stuck inside the solar system.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they're back down on Earth and like, oh my God, we can't honor our agreements. They had all these agreements that we're going to sell off all these humans, and they can't honor those agreements for one thing. They're in deep doo-doo for that reason, and then they can't. They were going to basically make the planet uninhabitable, global warming, and that was the plan. And they're not too sure what to do now. They're actually afraid because, and I don't know if you heard that last time we spoke with that other lady, Janet. You hear their voices. They're afraid. They're afraid that we're just going to hunt them all down, execute them all. They want amnesty. Oh, we'll give you the technology if you give us amnesty.
Well, yeah. So you have these sub factions that know this level of what's going on, but then you have like Trump and Pence and the rest of the world that are operating within the NASA reality, like that's the highest level, and so it doesn't mean anything to them. They're still operating in this other paradigm.
Well, I'm trying to get NASA to finance an educational program. I've told you about the educational program. I'm actually trying to get a grant from Spence specifically for that program. It was NASA's idea, not mine. To go on to actually, start doing educating people about the technology, and then and developing the technology. So I don't know. I we'll see. It sounds good. It sounds better than nothing at all. Continuing on to let humanity die from global warming. It can't remove us anymore. So we can't go down that. We can't do that. Now we have to restore the planet. We have no choice. But they're not too sure how they want to do that because it wasn't their plan. Their plan was to kill us all, or remove us as slaves, one or the other.
So who had that plan to kill us all and remove us as slaves? Was that the Trump level or
no? The ICC. They traded technology.
The ICC level.
The ICC. They traded technology. They traded us for technology. We were a commodity. They traded all of humanity, 7 billion people, for technology. And
so now the ICC is
the ICC. Yeah, the ICC got the technology. They already took the technology, but they didn't make payment. Meaning the 7 billion people, and what was supposed to happen is they were supposed to make it look like global warming, and all the people of the planet were gonna pray to God and everybody. Oh, please come save us! And then the aliens were gonna come and we can take you to our planet.
Right, that's the false flag that was planned.
Yeah.
So that was beyond the ICC level. That was the lower levels. Those false flag thing's been out for years. It's kind of like on the.
The ICC traded technology traded technology for humans. They sold humans for technology.
Right.
And they can't deliver now.
So is the ICC trapped in the lobster pot, so to speak?
No, they're in the solar system. They're trapped in the solar system. They have 100. We have 100 bases and colonies.
It's not going to affect them. They can still let us all rot.
Yeah, they don't. Yeah, they can still do that. They haven't decided yet, but that's pretty stupid since they're on lockdown.
But it doesn't affect them though. They have no real interest.
No. They have
humanity.
They have lots of bases and lots of colonies in this solar system alone.
Right.
Over 100 bases in this solar system. All kinds of
mining operations. What's their motive to save the Earth and humanity?
Hundreds of mining operations on the asteroids.
And what's their motive, if any, to save this planet Earth and humanity? Do they have any? Can you think of any?
It's the only pristine planet in this solar system.
So all the other planets are...
Well, they can't get there, remember? They're all on lockdown. They can't leave.
it can't be the solar system, but
Right.
the solar system has.
So why would you let the prettiest planet in the solar system go to waste? Now they have no choice because they have a vested interest in restoring this planet.
Okay, that's all I'm saying. Do they have an interest in restoring?
Yeah, they have a vested interest.
They...
It's the only planet that's really natural to them. There are many planets like our planet, by the way, and they own like over 20 or 30 of them. The SSP has 20 or 30 planets that are pristine, just like our planet. But they can't get to them anymore, so they have this one now, and they're like, "Oh, we're gonna have to fix this one because this is where we're gonna live," you know.
Okay, so now that they originally kind of put the lobster pot on boil, and they've got it pretty well cooked, is there a way to back it back and save this planet that whoever's in charge is aware of, or you know?
Yeah, even with a lower level of technology, magnetic energy, over unity power generators, engines, and motors. Even with a lower level technology, within 25 years, you can restore this planet to its pristine condition if that's what they want to do. You know, we're gonna, like I said, that we're gonna.
How do you convince them that's what they want to do? That's what.
Well, we're gonna find out if that's what they want to do very shortly. I'm gonna find out if that's what they want to do.
Okay.
I won't know for sure yet, but I'll know soon enough in a year. Within the next year, I'll know for sure.
Within next year.
Within the next year. Within this year. Yeah.
Within 2019.
Within this year, I'll find out a lot about what's going to happen and what's going on.
Okay. Now, logically, go ahead. You do a question. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, this went by too fast. I really would like some unpacking. You alluded to a critical battle, the Battle of
Ganymede. Summer of 2014, the Battle of Ganymede. The Greys occupied our solar system, and they controlled the moon. Ganymede is the moon of Saturn. I think it's the second largest moon or something. Anyway, the Ganymede is the moon around Saturn, and on Ganymede, that was the Grey central base. And we had asked the Greys to leave our solar system, and they wouldn't do it because they kept doing these they kept violating their agreements. And we kept reporting their violations to the Federation, and the Federation, we processed the legal case, and eventually we got permission to remove them because they wouldn't leave on their own. And we got legal permission from the Federation to remove them ourselves, and we did in the summer of 2014. We removed the Greys, and we took over the gate, the Stargate, from galaxy to galaxy. There's one galaxy to galaxy gate in all of the 52, the local stars, the 52 local star systems. There's one gate that goes from galaxy to galaxy, and that gate's on Ganymede. That the ancient builders built the portal from portals. Most of the portals go from planet to planet, but there's one that goes from galaxy to galaxy, and that's the gate on Ganymede. That's why the Greys didn't want to give it up, and why we had to actually take it by force. As far as I know, they didn't destroy the gate. But I haven't really heard. I would have heard if they had destroyed it. They didn't destroy the gate. So that was nice. That would have been really
Were you part of the action? Did you take part in this at all?
No, Randy was. Randy flew at the Battle of Ganymede. Randy was a pilot at the Battle of Ganymede, and he flew. He actually, was a fighter pilot at the Battle of Ganymede.
And what year was that again? The Battle
2014, summer 2014.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So these people, even though they've been in the 20 and back, they're never really retired. They get called.
No. Randy. That was Randy's last 3 years in his 20.
Oh, it was his last 3 years. Okay.
Yeah. It just happened to be at the Battle of Ganymede that was his last 3 years.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry. Actually, that was his last battle. His last,
So what does a battle mean? Are they firing from ships? Are they on the planet's surface?
Spaceships are there, and they're shooting at each other with lasers and particle beam weapons and all kinds of things. They're shooting at each other. Oh yeah, man! It's a space battle for sure. Star Wars space battle, man. The whole thing. Oh yeah.
Is there really anything like a shield that can take an artillery hit?
Yeah, they got shields bouncing off beams, and oh my God, and ground troops and robots, and walkers and bases and oh my God, the whole thing. All
So
Star Wars.
like Star
Everything
Trek.
in Star Wars. Imagine everything in Star Wars doing a ground base attack.
So it's the same thing.
Oh yeah, all the same stuff. Yep. Star Wars.
So this was not developed by us. We have all our technology through trade.
No, well, yeah. Actually, the United States did not develop its own technology. It traded. All the United States' technology was traded. It didn't develop its own technology. Only in the beginning, only for the first 40 years was the United States involved in developing its own technology. But then it started trading, and that was it. It just traded all of its technology, and all of the advanced technology in the United States is all traded. It's not self-made.
So what about Eisenhower's involvement?
What?
Eisenhower and his treaty.
Eisenhower was the one that started that in 56. He was the one that made the agreement with the Nazis in 57.
What happened in 54? I heard he started doing things.
52 was the ceasefire with the Nazis, and the original discussions with the different alien groups. You know, the tall whites and the grays and the Draco. You know, he had open discussions with different alien organizations at that period, and he made treaties with different ones.
Did it go back to Roosevelt, or did it start with Eisenhower, or did it go back to Truman?
Eisenhower.
There's stories that Truman and Roosevelt had some treaties with the extraterrestrials, but then I don't have clarity on where it actually began, which president.
I don't really go back. I don't go back further than Eisenhower. He was the most significant. His agreements were the biggies. You know, that's what really set up he was the one that set up the secret space program, and that's, you know, everything was from him with the secret space program. You know.
Okay.
That was all set up by him.
What do you know about when did it start? The trade with extraterrestrials start with the Nazis. How far did that go back?
The Nazis, let's see, when the Nazis went to the moon in 1929, that was their first mission to the moon in a Warp 1 spaceship with the Sixth Force. And that's when they met the aliens, because they went on the other side of the moon and they saw all the bases there.
What year was that again? What did you say? It was
1929.
29, yeah. Okay, just making sure that was clear. 29.
It could have been. I'm pretty sure it's 29 because they didn't get they got the Sixth Force. They bought the Sixth Force from Nikola Tesla around 27, I believe, and then it took them a couple more years to work to get it to where they made a ship to where they could go to the moon. And they went to the moon. They also went to Mars, I hear, also right thereafter. But that was when they ran into the aliens. They ran into the aliens on the far side of the moon. And they ran into the aliens on Mars, and that's when they started dealing with them for technology. Right away.
Go ahead, Sasha. You ask some questions.
Oh, well, just, that Maria Orsic said that they got some of their technology from Albertans.
And what is an Albertan?
I don't know. Just some ETs that decided that they were going to sponsor Hitler to be one of their allies in this sector of the galaxy.
No, that's not how it happened. For the Nazis developed Warp 1 and their own spaceships all on their own. Nothing was handed to them. They did it all by themselves. It's when they took Warp 1 over to the moon and landed right in the aliens' bases, so to speak. That's when they were offered trade technology, and even then, the people who were trading technology were very careful not to give them a superior advantage. For example, they traded the Nazi shields. The Draco traded them shields in 1941, and they installed the shield. They brought that ship. The Nazi brought that ship over in February of 1942 over LA, and we fired 2,090 millimeter rounds into it. Didn't do anything to it, but they had weapons on board. But they didn't use them. So these agreements they have for this technology is that, well, yeah, we'll say the technology, but you can't use it. You can't go using it on other people. So the Nazis made you can tell, you can see what agreements they made. They made agreements for certain things, but they weren't allowed to go using it in a certain way. It's kind of interesting. So the Nazis never used any of that advanced technology that they traded in any conflict with the United States. You think about it. They didn't use it in World War II. They didn't. They had it. They didn't use it.
What about Kasten saying that when Hitler had his great big parade, there was 1 million guys that he made out of clones that they had brought up from Antarctica? Is that bullshit, or is that jive with what you heard?
No. They were into clones and doing all that stuff, but they didn't use the technology. Any of the technology that they purchased from aliens, they were forbidden from using in the war, and they didn't use that technology in the war. So that's why you always have the secret space program is completely unacknowledged and completely separate, because bad technology can't be used. And then there was these other people who thought there were, rockets and guns and all that.
Well, hold that thought. We're going to come back after this commercial break in 5 minutes, and we'll continue with more.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. Is your data safe? Do you have the necessary information to assist you in confidently living through just about any survival situation? Is survival and gardening, off-grid living, medical knowledge, or even natural or man-made EMPs on your list of personal concerns? Do you have your documents and your personal information in a safe place in your hands where you know where it is? Well, check out our preloaded EMP-proof thumb drive. Over 3 gigs of survival documents and how-tos, plus the USDA offline food preservation website, and much, much more, including a surprise bonus we just can't tell you about here. With plenty of room left over to store your most important documents. Imagine if a megavirus or a computer failure took out your bank, or all the banks for that matter. Are your banking records safe in your hands? So when they get things fixed and repaired, you can say, hey, look, this is what I had. You have it. I want it back. Is your personal data safe? Family records, addresses, phone numbers? Well, squeeze on over to freedomslips.com. Yes, that's www.freedomslips.com. Click the banner on the homepage for the EMP-proof bullet drive to get the full scoop of everything that we offer. So, folks, keep your data safe for your peace of mind. Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com. You don't need to expect us. We're already here.
In breaking news, a visiting Syrian diplomat reported today that their population is evolving rapidly and advancing into a 5th dimensional consciousness. They are seeking peace with all cosmic cultures, which may mean that the Earth will be asked to join the prestigious Galactic Federation of Light Alliances. Please join Debbie West and Michael Hathaway on Lost Knowledge, Saturdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in Studio A, for the latest breaking news on the Star Visitors' peaceful contact and the ongoing project of cleansing the Earth.
This is the people's war. It is our war. We are the fighters. Fight it then. Fight it with all that is in us. And may God defend the right.
Warning! Warning!
We gotta stop them! They're gonna kill us all! See how the trouble you've started? Be they the government, be they industry, be they organized labor, be they anyone, or human beings. Time when the operation of the machine becomes so odious, makes you so sick at heart that you can't take part. You can't even passively take part. And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, upon the levers, upon all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com, the #1 listener-supported talk radio station, throwing ourselves upon the gears of the machine. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
You called down the thunder, well now you got it. Right! You tell them I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
Revolution Radio!
Join Revolution Radio every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Studio B for Momentary Zen with host Zen Garcia at freedomslips.com, the People Station.
How healthy are your arteries? Deteriorating circulation has a number of early warning signs. High cholesterol, high blood pressure. Fingers and or toes often go cold. Arms and or legs often go to sleep. Sharp diagonal crease in the earlobe. Short walks cause cramping or pains in legs. Memory is not as good as it used to be. Ankles swell late in the day. Chest pain after physical exercise or emotional stress. If you experience even one of these symptoms, your circulatory system is crying out for attention. Extendivite is a natural solution to help improve your overall health. Extendivite is not your average heart tonic. To order, call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com or find us on Amazon.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
The opinions expressed on this radio station, its programs, and its website by the hosts, guests, and call-in listeners or chatters are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of Revolution Radio and freedomslips.com, its staff, or affiliates. You're listening to Revolution Radio, freedomslips.com, 100% listener-supported radio, and now we return you to your host.
Aloha, and welcome back to the Sacred Matrix on Revolution Radio at revolution.radio. And I'm your host, Janet Lessin, with my co-host, Dr. Sasha Lessin, and my producer, the incredible Tom. And our guest is the amazing Dan Cooper. And before we get back to the show, I'd like to remind everybody to please go over to that donation button and make your donation. We got a lot of interference here. I don't know what's going on, but quiet on the set because we really need your donation. But Thomas has good news about donations this month. Go ahead, Thomas. Take it away.
We've already made it, and we got an extra $40. I appreciate everybody out there who has donated.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for your donation. Okay. So when we were last talking before the commercial break, we were talking about what were we back in World War II and all that stuff. And let's wrap that up, see if there's any last questions. And then we want to switch to Dan's involvement in the secret space program. What was Dan's role? And any memories that you have, any new things you want to share? We're always open to learning more about Dan Cooper's involvement in the secret space program and the 20 and Back program. So let's wrap up what we were talking about back in the day, World War II, how we got this into this mess in the first place. Do you have any questions or comments, Sasha?
Just, I think it's all wrapped up with the 20 and Back program. People really want to know more about cloning.
Well, it's not cloning; it's genetic engineering.
That's what they want to know
about that.
Right. Okay. So the Greys taught the Nazis. It was one of the agreements. They made lots of agreements they purchased technologies from the Greys. They did the same thing. They traded humans for it. Seemed to be the big commodity they were after. And the Nazis had no problem with that. They had lots of humans to trade. Anyway, so they traded for the technology, and one of the key technologies that the Greys have is genetics, or the ability to genetically engineer a person to make them come out the way you want them to be. And as Randy Kramer was explaining, we found out very quickly that there were a lot of aliens that we ran across that would only allow warriors to enter their realms or enter their territory. And we didn't have warriors that would really match up with them, so we had to actually genetically engineer them. And I was in the second program. I was in the first program. The first program started in '52. The genetic engineering programs that the Greys did with the Nazis and the Japanese scientists. I was genetically engineered with Japanese scientists that were taught how to do that with the Greys. The Greys oversaw the genetic engineering. The Japanese did the actual work. And then I was genetically engineered. I was one of the first genetically engineered super soldiers in '52 in that program. And then I was born in '53 to my surrogate parents or custodial parents. But, as far as we were concerned, they were my parents. And that was in 1953. And then we were trained in Japan, in various super secret space program bases throughout the United States and in Japan.
Dan, I have a question about these surrogate parents.
Yeah.
Did you have any DNA that you shared with either or both of the parents?
Yes. Yeah, both parents contributed. My mother contributed because she had psionics in her family, and my father contributed because he had Cossack genes in his family. Jewish. Mm-hmm. You know what a Cossack is? Anyway, very special fighters.
Tell us what a Cossack is.
Very special Russian fighters, known for their extremely strong legs and ability to run in the mountains. Cossacks.
Okay.
So the genes but they weren't just any genes. There were specific genes they were looking for. So both my parents contributed, not just as people, but also as special. They were looking for certain genes. And they found them. The Japanese, most of the genes that were contributed were from Japanese warriors, Japanese fighters, sword fighters. That's what they were trying to do. They were raising a sword fighter because the competitions that we went into were mostly sword fighting competitions.
Now, did you look like? Did you have any features of either of your parents?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sure.
So you look like you could be related to them.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, they didn't screw that one up.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And there were three of you, right? There was you, your twin brother, and a younger brother, right?
Right. Yeah. So not only was I in one of the first batch of genetically engineered super soldiers and the first training programs, but then I was also one of the twins in the twin program.
So, were your other two brothers good fighters?
David was. Dana wasn't. Dana died in the program. He died in the training.
Oh, I didn't know that. Now, Dana was your twin brother.
Younger brother by 1 year.
Oh my goodness! So, how did that happen?
I don't know how he died in the training. I just know he did.
Wow. How old were you when he died?
In the training, I don't know. I think I was like 16 when it happened. He died in training. He never saw combat. He died in training.
Oh.
Who told you of it? Who told you of it? Was it your parents or how did it affect
Randy actually explained it really well. So did Corey, by the way. They actually returned a clone of a soulless person that looks like your brother, but he's soulless, and it's really obvious. Wow. That's why when I say I know what soulless people are like exactly, I know what soulless people are like exactly. Because they returned my brother with the clone with no soul, and so I know exactly how they act. And it was exactly the way that Randy described it, and exactly the way that Corey described it. Said, "Oh yeah, I got one of those." So that's how I know he was killed. And then I'm pretty sure he wasn't killed in combat. I'm pretty sure he was killed because I could tell when age he changed dramatically, and that pretty much indicates when Dad was killed in the training. It's not uncommon to get killed in the training. It's not uncommon to get killed in combat. We're super soldiers. I mean. Right. We were all of us were so decorated. All of us have so many medals. I mean, we're all doing these insane missions. I can't even believe any of us made it back.
Daniel, I would like to tell you about the same kind of technology. Gloria, another therapist, talked about just before. It looked like her husband was dying. They substitute somebody that really was one of those things that was dead, and they transported her husband to the ship where she later ran into them. So it's the same story, and I'm hearing it from such diverse people. You and Gloria are so diverse that it's very interesting. They have a technology, and that's sort of validation for it.
Yeah, but when someone dies in the program, they don't want to freak out the parents, so they return a clone of that person, but their soul's gone. And they can't get it back. When you die in combat, the soul's gone. It doesn't come back. They don't capture. The Greys aren't soul capturers. By the way, that's very highly controlled. But anyway, go ahead.
So is that clone still existing, or is it?
Cloning? No. The clone that comes back is very unstable. The clone that comes back is very unstable. Pretty much, psychotic.
Did that one last? Is that one still alive in your world?
That one died a couple of weeks ago.
In this timeline, right now,
yes.
This 3D world.
Yeah.
That one died a couple weeks ago.
Dana died on the 12th.
Of this month?
Yep.
Wow. And did he have any family, any children, any?
Well, not children, just me and my brother, just family. Older brothers, yeah.
So he had to. Okay. Did you see his body after he died?
No, I didn't see the body. No.
Okay.
Was your family stoic, or were you all in pain? How did it affect you as human beings?
We felt sorry about it, but I have a different. I know for sure that he was gone a long time ago, and David said the same thing. He was gone a long time ago, but without knowing. My brother David doesn't know anything about the program, not like me.
No.
But even without knowing, he says Dana was gone a long time ago. He told the police that, Dana was gone a long time ago. Yeah.
Wow.
Without even knowing, but I know what happened. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So Dana was gone a long time ago. It's a pretty accurate description.
What did the cops do?
What do you mean What do you mean he died? The cops come. They take the coroner takes him away. What do you mean? What did the cops do?
What did you think he died of?
What did he die from?
He died of smoking. He was a chain smoker. It's one of the things that happen to a lot of these soulless clones when they come back. They become chain smokers. That's another indicator.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay, so. But he never married, he never had children, he had you and your brother.
Right.
Right. Okay. Okay, so let's go back to your life. So you were in the program and you became aware of it. Your twin brother was in the program, and he is not aware that he was in the program.
No, he's not aware. He has he has strange nightmares from time to time, and he describes it to me, and I laugh. I said, "Yeah, that was a battle we had here. That was a battle we had there." He just shakes his head. Yeah, right. Anyway, so yeah, we were both in the program. He doesn't remember anything. I started remembering in 2014. I started actually getting some memories back in 2005, but I really started getting a lot more memories in 2014.
So what was the trigger that made you remember?
Yeah, I wonder what happened if you sparred with David. If you guys sparred, would that waken all,
No, they never had us do that. They didn't try to make enemies of us. They never had us do that. They wanted us to be on the same team, so they didn't try to break us up by making us fight each other, even in practice.
Thank you.
So he has no memories, but you have the memories. Okay, so tell us what you remember.
Well, I remember quite a bit. I remember a lot about the training years. Because in training, they're training you during the evening, and then they erase your memory and they put you back in your bed, and then you get up and you go to school the regular day, but you don't remember you've been trained that evening in the program. And they time regress you every time they train you. And
but your body you keep getting healthier and healthier then from all the workouts.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, but they try not to make you too defined. They're teaching you how to fight more than they're trying to make you a rock solid human being, because most of the time your engagements are in robotic spacesuits, and so the suits does most of the work for you, and so mostly they're more in the genetic engineering. They're mostly looking for someone who will be compatible with the suit. Someone who heals fast, looking for certain qualities, healing very quickly, can handle drugs, not allergic to certain drugs, because the suit's always jacking you up with drugs. And so they're not so much interested in someone that's really toned as knowledgeable in the martial arts, not really, so toned. They're not looking for a hard body. They're looking for someone that's compatible with the equipment. The robotic equipment that you get into.
So this did it give you like super strength? And
yes, all the above. That's what you get into a robotic suit, and you have your heavy armor and your light armor, and each of these suits has many different weapons and many different capabilities and all kinds of heads-up displays and computer calculations and weapons and drugs, monitoring your systems. And then, of course, there's the robotics within the suit itself, which means you're actually controlling a robot. You are piloting a robot, a highly advanced robot. Remember, they're trading technology for these robots.
Did you make a patent of anything like this? Have you done something?
No, Corey really described our latest one. Was it Corey? No, it was David Wilcox described our latest robotic armor. And all that stuff's traded from aliens. It's a highly advanced robotic armor. When you get in, you're basically piloting a robot. So they're not looking for rock solid, warriors. They want you to be a really good fighter and all, because a lot of times you don't get to fight with the armor. You get to fight with swords. But swords don't require somebody in excellent shape. You just got to be really good at sword fighting. It's a special skill. See what I'm saying?
You have to have endurance, so you can.
We're in pretty good shape, but the point is that's not the emphasis of our training.
Right.
Because we're going to get inside of a robot most of the time. And then when I'm doing hand to hand, I'm not doing hand to hand. I'm fighting with a sword, so I have to be a really good fighter with a sword. It has nothing to do with looking good. We didn't put on muscle to look good.
No, I'm not saying that. Yeah. I mean, it probably would have been an advantage to be able to get out of the way and, move.
We studied martial arts, and that's what we did. We studied martial arts. And martial arts, the really fastest and hottest ones are little skinny guys. And that's what we were. And that's what we were.
Right. So you were little skinny guys that could get out of the way, and you got on these suits that enhanced your abilities. So where did you train? You had sent me some.
Well, when it comes to running piloting robotics in an actual combat situation, they really want you to think on your toes. Think outside of the box. So they imbibe you with a lot of smarts. They want smart people. They want people who can think for themselves and figure out problems in a combat situation very quickly. And so they gave us a lot of smarts. That was actually the emphasis. That's why I'm able to invent now, because they gave me all those smarts.
So what were some of the problems you had to think quick on your...
In a combat situation, even in an individual combat situation, you have to try to figure out how to defeat your opponent. In the tournaments, I would get the stats on my opponents and be able to strategically figure out how to beat that person in a duel by studying these past matches.
Well, it reminds me of the duel that Kirk had on the planet with the Gorn, the one that looked like a reptile. So he was down there with nothing but his smarts, and he had to outthink. Did you ever like that?
That's very accurate. That's extremely accurate. That's what happened to us. We kept getting the duels. And then they finally went, you know what? Captain Kirk ain't good enough for this. We're going to keep losing duels if we send Captain Kirk out there because he ain't got no skills. That's when they trained me. I was genetically engineered specifically to do those duels with swords. I was trained specifically to do those duels with swords for years by the Japanese Shaolin instructors. And I was good at it. When I went out there and I did it, and I won. So it was a smart move by the United States.
What was the Klingon sword? The real one was the ones like the Klingon?
No. All the advanced species use lightsabers. They're laser swords. It's light. It'll cut you like tighter than a razor blade cut. It's the sharpest thing there is. It's a laser sword, a lightsaber. Everybody used the lightsabers in competition. If you were to run into actual swords, everybody had their ancient sword. The Japanese had their ancient sword. Everybody had their ancient sword. Everybody had one that went back, centuries, thousands of years. They had that. But when we actually fought in tournament, we fought with lightsabers, laser swords. Everybody did.
Thank you.
Where did the lightsaber come from, and how did George Lucas discover it?
Well, no, you have to understand the whole Star Wars and Star Trek were both SSB programs. That was put out by them. So they give out the information, just like they're giving Tom DeLonge information now. They did the same thing, and then those writers wrote it down. They were handed that information by the Secret Space Program personnel. That was soft disclosure. Star Wars and Star Trek, soft disclosure. Go ahead.
Well, that's good. So
you were asking about the lightsabers. You're asking about the lightsabers.
Yeah.
The real lightsaber.
I am, but I'm saying, what else was accurate? What else was accurate about Star Trek and Star Wars that got conveyed in
the
fiction?
ships are pretty accurate. The hyperdrive, popping in, temporal drive, popping in, popping out, gates, stargates. There's just a lot of accurate information, an awful lot of accurate. They even give you the math. I had one of these guys out in NASA. Do you know the math? They're always asking me that. Do you know the math? Do you know the math? And so, well, as a matter of fact, did you go into this Stargate issue? And he goes, really? I go, yeah. And we're pulling down math out of these issues because these guys are so puffed up, the Secret Space Program personnel. They don't think that people are catching on to the fact that this is real, and they thought they could just slip in the math here and there and no one would notice. Anyway.
one of the things they're saying in Star Trek is that a way that consciousness travels is by the mycelium, or like Terence McKenna said, the spores of psilocybin cubensis that are everywhere, and that when you can get in that level of spore, you can transport to any place in the various galaxies and universes. Is that fantasy, or does that have some reality?
Well, the spirit beings have mastered that, and that's a specific force that they've mastered, the 8th force. There are different. There's 5 spear beings in the Spear Being Alliance have all mastered this. So it's not beyond our reach, humanity's reach. It's not beyond humanity's reach. Humanity has already, Marilyn Houston has already discovered the 8th force and has already started working in it. So it looks like humanity may become one of the Spear Being Alliance groups, but that's it's thousands of years from now.
So we haven't discovered now. Why is it going to happen thousands of years from now? And we have
that kind of development, becoming so advanced of a civilization of the Spear Beings. Yeah, okay, that's very advanced.
Right, but it seems like it's now being introduced into our fiction, and that usually is an indicator that it already exists somewhere. And it's not just in space. It's somewhere, somebody has it in our human realm. And they're allowed to reveal this stuff through fiction, right? We have it all over the place in fiction. We have time travel. We have the nature of reality. We have quantum physics.
Yeah.
Everything's
Stargate, Star Trek, Star Wars. They reveal all the technology through fiction. Yes.
Right.
They also reveal a lot about how aliens are different, different groups. Like the warrior species, the Klingon, and other warrior species, that they're very different. They start revealing that too,
But then you're saying that they're not going to do it for, 25 years, 50 years.
I didn't do it. The program's 50 years.
Okay, so since you're the one that's in the know and you're studying this and you've lived it, there's got to be a way of accelerating this, because otherwise this is not relevant to me. I mean, so what? It'll happen in my, in somebody else's time. But I'm here now in this timeline. My investment is we'll see to get this to be reality here and now, not 100 years now or 50 years from now. Because it is a reality for somebody. It is something that actually is happening.
Yeah.
To what level does our own imaging and imagining, our own abilities to create on a quantum level within our own selves, to what level does that come to play into all this stuff? Because it seems like we're always powerless and giving it over to somebody else. Yeah.
Yeah. As a very few people can attain that kind of capability themselves personally. We're talking about 7 billion people on the planet are not going to attain skills personally that we can replace that kind of technology. We want the technology released. We just don't know what level they're going to allow yet. I know all the different levels. I push it every one of them. I said, okay, well, if we're not going to release that one, how about this one? So we'll see. I just don't know because I haven't.
Right. Now, when you were using the suit, to what level were you using your own telepathic?
Yeah, well, the spacesuit. You're communicating with the suit telepathically.
Right, and I've communicated extraterrestrially with extraterrestrials telepathically. So
you're communicating with your suit telepathically. As soon as you think it, the suit responds. There's no delay.
Right. Now, how does that work?
Telepathic commands. There's a report. DARPA puts out a pretty good video on telepathic commands in the inside the helmet of a. It's not uncommon. We have that technology that's been reported today. It's not secret space program technology. Telepathic commands. They do it more based on the movement of the face, but they've actually gone further than that, DARPA. So that's all current technology. That's current technology now. That's not SSP technology.
Does the suit have a consciousness of its own?
No. No. It's just that it can read, it can read. You can communicate with the suit with your mind. That's a
command control you.
One at a time, please. Go ahead.
That's just
command control you.
What?
Can command control you through the suit?
No, the suit is not AI.
Thank you.
The suit's
got
not AI. So it's really not. It's reading the subtleties of your facial.
It doesn't make any decisions. You tell it what to do. It monitors your body and then juices you up according to what you need in order to stay healthy. If you're in a combat situation and you lose a leg, it fixes it right away.
Wow.
How does it?
I don't mean it fixes your leg. No. It's triage. It stops the bleeding.
Stops the bleeding. Okay.
Right. It doesn't fix it. You're not in a med pod. No. But it does triage. It fixes it. It'll stop the bleeding and do cauterizing and everything, and it gives you the chemicals you need in order to deal with the situation. But those decisions are just it's not making battle decisions. It doesn't deploy weapons or anything like that. It might deploy defenses based on, but you have total control over the suit. The AI never takes over, and it has never taken over on any of the suits that I've operated. It was never a concern. We have robots that don't take commands and they run off on their own. And we ran across drones all the time. But as you remember, in Star Wars, the Jedi Knights never had any problem with drones. It's the same. That's reality. Drones are easy to defeat. AIs are easy to defeat. For
now,
us, for the Jedi Knights, for us, we were like Jedi Knights. This was easy, okay? But it takes a certain level of training to be able to get to skill level, martial arts skill level, to be able to defeat drones easily. It's not that simple. But we had no problems with drones or AI. Not our level of warriors.
So these suits were like a human suit. They weren't.
No. They're machines. No. It's a robot. It's a machine. You step inside. You're stepping inside of a machine.
If you were to look under I got it. Super soldier suits,
right?
Like Google, can you find any that look like your suit or closest to it? If you were to just Google that.
Well, we have light armor and heavy armor, and then we have where you actually are. You step into the ship, and the ship is your suit. So it's just different, I'd have to look it up to be able to. I'd have to look around and see if there's anything like it.
If you can do that after the show, it'd be great. Yeah. If you find any that resemble your suit, because I've heard about other people. We have a young man who goes into a suit that looks like a reptilian suit because he's fighting alongside the reptilians. Now, did you have any encounters with other species like reptilians, and were they? Yeah,
well, we fought with them. Alliance? We fought with reptilians, the Dracos, and we fought with them, and then and against a lot of reptilians that they were at war with. Because we fought with the Draco. We traveled with the Draco. We were their little puppy dogs, Basically, we served the Draco. Was part of our agreement for the technology they gave us, was that we would serve them as soldiers. So when I went on a lot of their campaigns, the Draco's campaigns. Not United States military. We fought for the Draco, my group.
And what was their chitch? What were they fighting about? What were they trying to accomplish?
Domination. The Draco are really into control. They have thousands of solar systems under their control. One of the most interesting statements. There was a Draco reptilian that was it was the Enterprise, the one with the water polo player. Who's that guy? Played the water polo player. The Enterprise. And anyway, there was the Star Trek Enterprise series.
And somebody was play the
one of the later series. And and he met up with a reptilian. The reptilian said, if you guys keep going along at this rate of progress, it will still take you 1 million years to even get close to what we've done. That we control solar systems in many galaxies. So you don't even. He's like, you guys don't even know how big our realm is.
Well, I heard that this the Earth is just a Draco colony. Is that true then? Since
the Draco rules many thousands of solar systems in hundreds of galaxies. I mean, it's huge. Their realm is just huge.
So is the Earth one of their colonies?
They consider us, the Draco consider us theirs. But and that's what Corey said, and I'd have to really think about that. He said that, but I got to really think about it. Because remember, I didn't serve here on Earth. You leave, you get deployed, you're gone. I was gone. I was nowhere near this solar system for 20 years.
So what logic is it that they deploy you to the reptilians, the Dracos?
I'm sorry, ask the question. What? I'm sorry, ask the question.
You got deployed out of the galaxy, so to speak. But
no, not out of the galaxy. In the galaxy, just not in the solar system.
Not in the solar system, but in the galaxy.
Right.
To the Dracos, to work for the Dracos. So
I travel with the Draco fleet. Our fleet, the Dark Fleet, the United States military fleet, Dark Fleet, traveled with the Draco fleet all over the galaxy, defeating different enemies of the Draco.
So who
you said you're like puppies.
Of the Draco? You're like puppies. So are you their? Yeah, they're bulldogs.
Right.
The
enemies but you don't understand. The United States considered it a great honor to be able to travel with the Draco. They didn't consider it the way you're thinking.
You're not the first one that I've heard say this, but I'm delving in further because I'm curious, and I wondered, who are they fighting against? What
the Draco dominates solar systems in hundreds of galaxies.
So who did
hundreds of planets, thousands of planets in each galaxy. They rule huge empire.
So who did you fight? What type of beings did you fight?
Oh, we fought lizards and dogs, and we fought reptilians, lizards. We fought humanoids. They were different. We fought different species, But those were the main types of the three main types of species that we fought. There were humanoid, look human, large, big ones, small ones, different kinds of reptilians, and canine, different kinds of canines. We fought with different kinds of canine that I remember. I don't remember everything. I don't remember everything. My memories are clear of the tournaments, the actual tournaments that I fought. The actual duels, because they were significant, very significant memories.
Right. What were you going to ask, Sash?
I just want to know about mantoids, because people have reported mantoids on
Insectoids,
Mars.
yeah, we fought insectoids. Yep, we fought them. Yep. But there are different kinds of insectoids besides mantoids. Remember that particular movie? What was that movie where they were fighting a bunch of insectoids?
Ender's Game?
No.
I don't know. Lots of movies who fight insectoids.
Yeah, they fought big insectoids. They were flying, and then they had the big ones with the brain was the big one with the big giant brain bug.
I may not have seen that one.
And that's more accurate as far as insectoids. That movie actually showed you a lot of real insectoids.
Wow. Well, let's get it. Thank you.
Yeah,
I just forget the name of the movie. I mean, it's so clear in my head. What's the name of that?
You'll figure it later. Tell us later. Send us the.
Anyway, it was the one with the big giant brain bug, and then they had flying ones, and it was
Do you have the name of that?
Stormship Trooper.
Right, that's it.
Starship Trooper.
1 and 2.
Yeah, Robert Heinlein.
That's what the insectoids looked at. They're not all mantoids. They're different kinds.
Oh, way to go. Storm Troop. Yeah, that's Robert Heinlein's adaptation.
Yeah, cool. And if you listen real clear to Corey said that the insectoids on Mars have the ability to make any kind of insectoid they want. They're considered only second to the Greys when it comes to genetic engineering. Cool. So they make them however they want. They make the bugs any way they want. So any bug, in other words, the point is that any bug that you could think of that we see on this planet, they can make it big.
Okay, so Daniel, I heard the same thing about the Dracos, that they could make dinosaurs, and that was their beefs. Stuart and others have said
they can make natural dinosaurs because they have they have all the DNA from them all over the different galaxies. They have all the dinosaurs DNA. They can make whatever they want, but they're cast. You've seen the Dracos, the royal cast of the big whites with the red eyes, and they have different casts. It's just like the Greys have different casts, and they're very cast-like. And all of the warrior planets, because remember, that's where I spent most of my time, was in the warrior planets, because if you're not a duelist, you can't even go to a warrior planet. I was like the ambassador because I was a duelist, so I could go and no one else could. So on the warrior planets, they're all cast. They all have different casts.
Oh,
and they're all very different from each other, extremely different, physically.
So that's okay. Because on Venus, the reports from Venus is that the separate castes had separate establishments, and they were sharing the surface. Besides the but they had 7. They wouldn't mix their different. Military.
Venus. I can't relate to Venus, but that's okay. Okay, go ahead. So you're going to ask me about bulls? What were you going to ask me about, Janet?
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, you have your pictures that I've been putting up on aquarianradio.com, and I'm still kind of playing with it while we're chatting here. And you have some pictures of your training, and there was, let me go back to it. Where is that? Hold on. On aquarianradio.com, you can pull that up, listeners. And there's a page that I'm creating for Dan's show today, and it has a lot of images. And so we have pictures of some bulls in or cows in a pasture, and there's Geronimos, something about Geronimo. Anyway, if you want to explain, and then you gave me some information that I put up, and now I can't find it, about your guide, your trainer, a martial arts instructor.
Yeah, one of my instructors was an Apache warrior.
19,
Apache warrior. Yeah.
Apache warrior, and you were 19 in the grottos of the Millard Canyon, Finegold, California. You did rock running.
Well, that's what he came to see me. He was my instructor during the years when I was very young, from the age of 6 to the age of 17. The Apache warriors, he was one of the instructors. The Apache warriors taught us how to fly like the Apache, move through the terrain like the Apache. Basically, they taught us all the Apache skills that allowed them to dominate the 5th Cavalry during that late 1800 campaign. But the different instructors would visit me after when I came back. You come back after you're 17 and a half, you get dropped off right where you are again. So that, but they want to see the old instructors. They want to see how their students, especially the students that did well and distinguished themselves in combat. The old masters, they want to come see you. So this Apache warrior, he came to see me when I was 1973 in Finegold, California, where I was swimming and running in the grottos of that particular area, and he came to see me and my brother David. My brother David, we were both there. He came to see us both because he wanted to see his old students. But we don't remember him because all our memories were wiped. But he showed us some of the Apache skills. He specifically showed us rock running, and in order to leave that memory with me of who he really was. So he actually showed the highest level of rock running skill, illustrated for me and my brother, so that I would remember who he was.
So what is rock running? What do you mean, man?
The reason the Apache were so superior in battle is because they could literally run through the rocks, run through the mountains where you couldn't even crawl through, you couldn't even climb through them. But the Apache had this way of actually literally running through the rock. No matter how difficult the climb was, they would run through it. If you see a climber climb, the Apache could run that. Not just, they don't move slowly, and they didn't use ropes, but they can. It's climbing, but in a full run. And
do they use their hands? Or is it just feet?
They use their hands and feet, like lizards, basically. And they would run through the rock, and through impossible climbing skills. We're talking about 513, 514, 515 climbing level, and they're running it. The highest climbing level, and all of Geronimo's warriors were able to do this, which is why they were able to kill so many people.
So they taught you how to do it. How do you do it? Is it like mind over matter? Or?
No. They actually train you just like they train their little Apache kids. The SSP took these Apache warriors and they said, "Here's your kids. Teach them how to run. Teach them how to fight like an Apache." And we sure did. We knew how. We could do it. Anything.
Can you still do it? Can you still do it?
Yeah, I actually. Can your kid? I actually studied on this timeline and remembered. I'm going, oh, wow, I remember this. And remember, I met that guy on this timeline when I was 19.
Wow.
And he told me, he said, you can do this. And I went, well, what makes you think I can do this? And I'm like, that's how I knew the guy was one of my instructors. Plus, what he could do. I mean, this guy. He sat us down. There was like 5 of us, and he sat us down on this ledge, and he said, "Now don't move because I'm going to run." And he ran past us on this ledge. He ran past us, and he flew like 20 feet, and he landed on the wall of a waterfall in a vertical position, meaning he was sideways, and he was running along the waterfall. The waterfall was a big tube, it was all dried up. So he ran along the waterfall, all along the outer edge of it, and then he leaped into the air and landed right back where he started. And he said, that's a number 3, advanced trail.
Wow.
And he showed us some more number 3s. He showed us some more number 3s. He showed us some 1s and 2s and 3s. He said, we only rate trails 1, 2, and 3. But he showed us advanced trails, and we're talking about you've never seen anybody who could do anything like that in your life. So for him to disclose that, he was basically... It was his way of meeting up with 2 of his students that had distinguished themselves. That's what the old masters want to do. They want to see their students after they have distinguished themselves in combat. And of course, my brother and I did. We just got back from a 20 and back, so he knew we were distinguished. We distinguished ourselves many times in combat, and he just wanted to see, meet us. All of our old masters came to see me. Many of our old masters came to see me. I was just one of them.
Wow. Could you teach your kids?
You gotta understand. You have to understand. This guy, when he did that, when he illustrated the number 3 trail, like more than one of them, he was 86 years old.
Oh my gosh.
When he did that, he was running rock trails, advanced trails that most people would think it was magic. I mean, there's no way you could do that. You can't do that, And this guy was running at age 86. So that was the other thing he was trying to show us, that he was, still running rock. Anyway.
It seems like that'd be kind of like mind never matter. You know, being able to do
there's
magic.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of psionics. The Apache were into all that, and they.
Radio at freedomslips.com, and we'll be right back after this message. Thank you for listening to Revolution Radio at freedomslips.com. Any commercial advertising you may hear in this program is of the sole discretion and benefit of the host of whose program you are listening to. Revolution Radio does not endorse any commercial products, nor does it accept monetary compensation for on-air advertising of commercial products, nor will it ever. We are and shall remain 100% listener supported. Any product advertising on this program are considered used at buyer risk, and Revolution Radio shall not be held liable for any claims or damages received from any product advertised within this program. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Thanks for tuning in to Revolution Radio. Here at Revolution Radio, we are listener-sponsored and commercial-free. But there still are bills to pay. In order to raise some needed funds to cover the cost, our station is offering a silver special. In the continental United States for a $60 donation, or in Alaska, Hawaii, or Canada for a $70 donation, we will send you an uncirculated 2018 1-ounce pure silver Eagle. The $70 donation, the extra 10 is to cover shipping, by the way, outside of the continental United States. When making the donation, you must put Silver Eagle promo in the notes on the donation. And thank you for tuning in to Revolution Radio at revolution.radio and freedomslips.com. Without you, there is no us. Revolution Radio, where information never sleeps.
Take a look around, kid. What do you see? Homes being foreclosed. People working 2-3 jobs just to put food on the table and still drowning in debt. Don't get me wrong. This country was founded on great ideals and principles. They've all been ruined by the banks. Open your eyes to banks that are robbing you. You know who my favorite president was? Who? Thomas Jefferson. Because he saw all of this coming and tried to stop it. He fought the banks. JFK too, and they killed him for it. The banking institution is more dangerous than an army, he said. He also said that every generation needs a revolution, Jimmy. The American dream is just that. Just a dream. War is a continuation of politics, only by other means. Politics is a continuation of economics by other means. This is our bank. This is our war.